started. Hi, everyone. My name is Kristen Fleming. I am the Education and Training Coordinator for the Alzheimer's Disease Caregiver Support Initiative. We have a grant from the New York State Department of Health to provide services to caregivers of anyone living with any form of memory loss, including Alzheimer's disease and dementia. We cover 6 counties. They are Clinton, Franklin, Essex, Warren, Washington, and Hamilton counties. And if you're not familiar with our program, we offer education and training like you all are participating in today. We also do support groups, memory cafes, which are social events for caregivers and people living with dementia. We offer a limited amount of respite, so an occasional break, so you can get out of the house and do anything that you need to do. We have care navigators that meet one-on-one with individuals and families to talk about your individual situation, what we can do to help, and what other community agencies there are that are available for you to get some help. And we also have something called Project Lifesaver, which is a bracelet that your loved one would wear because people with dementia are at risk for wandering. And this would help locate them in the event that they do wander. All of our services are free. They're open to the public. And currently all of our events are happening online. So they're even available to anyone really in the world who wants to attend. Some of our other programs like the respite, you do have to live in our service area. So that's a little bit about our program. And today I'm here to talk about caregiver quality of life and self-care. I think self-care is a very hot topic when we're in general right now that we hear people talking about. But it's very important, especially right now with COVID. You know, a lot of people are not taking care of themselves. They're struggling with their mental health. If you're caregivers, you're really stressed and overwhelmed. And then there's this whole pandemic on top of it. It can be really challenging to find the time to take care of yourself. But it's also really important for you to do that so that you can take better care for your loved ones. So let's just go ahead and get started. Oh, I do want to let you know that you are in a listen only mode, so I cannot see or hear you. If you have any questions though, feel free to type them into the Q&A box or the chat box. I'd be happy to answer them as we go through the presentation. You know, when I was doing these in person, I would always make it more of a conversation, so it's a little challenging to be doing them virtually, but I am more than happy to answer any questions. Okay, so I'm going to start with actually just a little bit of a background of what is dementia and Alzheimer's disease. So this is, I'm going to, that's not what this video is. This video does not seem to be working. Well, I apologize for the technical difficulties, but we'll just skip over this. Did you know that caregivers are more likely to get sick than those who are not caregiving? Or that caregivers are constantly spending so much of their time and their energy to others that they become exhausted and they're unable to continue at that high level. It's important for caregivers to take the best possible care of themselves so they can take care of their loved ones. So here are some ways to take care of yourself. You can eat healthy, do it as part of a routine. Make sure you're taking a multivitamin, drinking enough water every day, and talking to your doctor about what your needs are. Exercise. This doesn't mean you're doing a hardcore running or going out to do a marathon, but get out every day and do something to move your body. This could be yoga, stretching, walking. It really does make a difference, not only for your physical health, but also for your mental health. Get outside. Fresh air and sunlight can refresh your mind and your spirit, even if you can only go out for a short period of time, especially when it's so cold like today, at least if you're in the Northeast. Still try to get out, or even sit by a window, open it up, get some fresh air, do some bird watching, get the amount of sleep that you need. The CDC recommends that adults between the ages of 26 and 64 get 7 to 9 hours of sleep a night. While adults over the age of 65 should get 7 to 8 hours of sleep every night. Go to the doctor, make sure you're getting your regular checkups. If something new comes up, make sure you're going to the doctor to get that checked out as well. Don't ignore your feelings. Take time to pay attention to how you're feeling and what your emotions are. You should be able to talk to other family members or friends if needed, or see a counselor. Take time for yourself. Use different techniques to allow yourself to de-stress. This includes taking a break and allowing yourself to continue to pursue your hobbies and your interests. Read, pray, or meditate. Try to take 15 minutes a day to read something uplifting, or if you're religious, take time to connect with your beliefs. Laugh. Share stories with your loved one. Remember old times, and when it's possible, have a laugh at yourself. That can really uplift your spirit. And ask for help. This is often the hardest one of all. We want to think that we can do it all, that we don't need help. However, asking for help is important. People naturally will want to help, but sometimes you have to ask for it. They might not volunteer. It's also a great time for you to get away from the house and your loved one and get a break if you need it. Emotions. I want to talk about some of the different emotions that you might be experiencing. Some caregivers end up being a caregiver by choice. Others are just the default caregiver. There's no one else to do it. Some are eased into the job, and others find themselves as the primary caregiver very suddenly due to a crisis. Doesn't matter how you got there, there will come a point where you start to have some feelings about your situation, and some of them may not be so positive. Could be embarrassing, not only to admit to others, but also to yourself. It doesn't matter if these feelings are good or bad, they are allowed. They're valid and important. Don't let others tell you that you shouldn't be feeling that way if you do bring it up. Also, your feelings can change from day to day, even hour to hour. It's important to deal with all of your feelings. They could stay under the surface and come out in different ways, such as poor sleep, illness, trouble coping, stress, eating, substance abuse use, or others. If you're able to express your feelings, then you can work through and accept them. This can be positive for both you and the person that you're caring for. So let's talk about some of the different things you could be feeling. Ambivalence. This is the feeling of wanting to caregive as at the same time not wanting to. Allow yourself to have both sets of feelings. Neither the good or the bad will last forever. Could be feeling anger. Anger is a normal part of caring for someone who needs help on a continuous basis. They might not be accepting of that help. And caring for someone with dementia can be especially challenging if they're combative or irrational. So sometimes anger just comes out, and it's important to forgive yourself. Try to recognize in your body when you feel the anger kind of bubble up, and walk away, take a time out. If you have someone else who can maybe take over with the caregiving for a little bit of time, and just take some deep breaths, get away until you're not feeling as angry and you can return to the situation. Anxiety, feeling like things are totally out of your control. You don't know how to bring them back into control. Pay attention to your body. And when you're feeling anxious, sometimes we can feel our heart rate increasing, or we can feel that anxiety building up in our body. So stop, breathe, take some deep breaths, keep breathing, do something that will give yourself a break from what's happening in the moment. So just walking away and having a cup of tea, or doing some breathing exercises or some mindfulness exercises, read, do something to distract yourself. Boredom. I think especially right now with COVID, everyone's feeling a little bored. You're stuck inside. You aren't doing things that meet your needs. So try to take a break from doing that caregiving and do something for yourself. It could give you a chance to do something that you look forward to do, something that's meaningful and important to you. If you have hobbies that you used to enjoy doing, whether that's art or exercise or clubs that you were a part of, find time to do the things that you really enjoy doing. Could be feeling cranky and irritable. I love this picture. So if you're tired and stressed, it's hard to stay in control of yourself. Your feelings could change very quickly from good to bad, and it's often the small things that set you off, and maybe you just snap at your loved one. If you feel cranky, you probably need a break or rest. Oftentimes when people are cranky, they turn to alcohol or junk food to make themselves feel better, but we know that these are not the best coping mechanisms. Instead, try to get some rest, talk to a friend or family member that you trust you could vent to, or write in a journal. Discuss. This is another great picture. Maybe you're having to clean up from a person who might be your parent, and you're having to change an adult diaper, or you're wiping up their vomit. That can make you feel disgusted. Maybe the person's eating really messily now and they don't care for their personal appearance. They're having a difficult time with their hygiene. You can't get them to take a shower or comb their hair. It could feel gross. So sometimes we think that the person we're caring for is doing these things on purpose. It's important to remember that they no longer have control over their behaviors. If personal care tasks are difficult for you, it could be beneficial to hire an aide or ask another family member who is more comfortable to come over and do those personal care tasks or help during those times. Embarrassed. Maybe you're out in public and your loved one is making inappropriate comments to the waitress or to the home health worker who's coming into the home. Or like I said before, maybe they refuse to bathe and now they smell bad. Caregivers often feel like these behaviors are their fault and they're responsible for them. And so sometimes caregivers will actually stop leaving the house due to these behaviors. Instead, they do make these cards, or you could make cards that you can give out to the waitress or to people in public to just say, my loved one has dementia and can no longer control his or her behavior. You could also get help from family and friends or an aide when you are going out in public. I think that will make it easier to have someone else be there with you. Fear. This is a big one. It's similar to anxiety. You could be worried about all of the what ifs, and that can keep you from enjoying things how they currently are or from living in the moment. Caregivers take on a large amount of responsibility and often worry not just about the day-to-day care, but also about what could happen in the future. Making a plan for some of the things that could come up. For example, have a backup plan in place. Something happens to you as the caregiver and you're sick and you need, or in an accident or something, and you need somebody else to do the primary caregiving. Or how would you handle a medical emergency if you have to bring the person you love, the person with dementia, into an emergency room? Talk to someone about your fears. It can be helpful as they can calm you down and also help brainstorm ideas. And that way, when you do worry, oh, what if this happens? You can say, well, I have a plan for if that happens, so I don't need to worry about it anymore. Kind of put that out of your mind. Frustration. It's a part of many other feelings. Even with your best effort, sometimes things just don't go right. Or if you feel like you can't do anything right. If you're tired, you're more likely to get frustrated easily. So exercise and sleep can help. Take breaks from caregiving to help refresh your energy, and just admit yourself how frustrating caregiving can be. It's okay to have these feelings. Your feelings are valid. but you don't want to dwell on them for too long. Grief. Watching the person you are caring for decline is sad. Oftentimes, the caregiver also grieves for the person and the relationship that they used to have. It's important to grieve the loss that's being experienced, or it could come out as another feeling. People tend to want to avoid the sadness that comes with grief. However, allowing yourself to feel it and know that it's okay can help with healing. For some people, creating a ritual can be helpful too. So when they're feeling grief, maybe they light a candle or make a cup of tea. Guilt. Caregivers might feel guilty for feeling as though they're not doing enough or giving the best care to the person they're caring for. They could feel guilty for wanting their job as a caregiver to be over, or for even not liking the person they're caring for at times. For taking time for themselves, they feel like it's being selfish to think of their own needs. It's important to forgive yourself. It's not possible to be perfect all of the time and to have perfect control over your emotions. Try to do some positive self-talk and acknowledge that you are human and it isn't possible for you to be perfect. You're doing the best you can. Impatience, and we even got the video of him tapping his foot. When working with a person who doesn't seem to want to cooperate with you, it's very easy to lose your patience. The person with dementia may seem to do things on purpose or to you, or they just aren't moving fast enough. So slow down and give yourself and the person with dementia plenty of time to complete tasks. If you're trying to get ready to leave the house for a doctor's appointment, you want to make sure you're doing it early with plenty of time, as it could take longer for them to put their shoes on and to get situated. They might need to go to the bathroom first. Controlling the environment as much as you can will be helpful as well, but keep in mind that you can't control everything. As always, forgive yourself. Give yourself some grace. Jealousy. We've always been told not to be jealous, so often we won't admit that we're feeling this way, but it happens sometimes. You might feel jealous of others who are not caregiving and they're more able to do things that they enjoy, especially if you're retired and you expected to not spend your retirement caregiving, but doing fun things. It's okay to admit that you're feeling jealous just because life is not fair. Jealousy becomes a problem though when we wallow in it and we don't enjoy the things that we do have. So try not to let it take over your emotions. Lack of appreciation. Nobody notices what I do until I don't do it. I feel like caregivers can definitely relate to that statement. Feelings often get hurt in caring for someone with dementia, as the person we're caring for doesn't seem to notice all that we're doing for them, nor do they ever thank us. Be your own cheerleader. Give yourself a pat on the back. Keep a journal. It may help you appreciate all the things that you do. You could also join a support group or talk to family members and friends to help cheer you on as well. Loneliness. The longer you care for someone, the more likely you are to become isolated. I think right now, especially with COVID, everyone's feeling isolated. There's often no one to talk to other than the person with dementia, and they may no longer be able to carry on a conversation. Sometimes friends stop trying to reach out to you as you're often unavailable. Use respite to take a much needed and deserved break. Also consider using a day program, as it won't tie up one of your friends or family members, so you can spend time with them. Caregivers of people with dementia experience a lot of loss. For some, it could be a loss of income, loss of independence, loss of your best friend, loss of your sense of self. It's important to identify your own losses because for everyone it's different. And when you understand and identify your loss, you can better think of ways to help yourself grieve it. Resentment. It's not uncommon when we're put in a situation that we don't necessarily choose. Negative feelings can come when others who you feel like should be helping with the caregiving and they're not. So a lot of times I see this in families. If some siblings are helping out a lot and others aren't. Family dynamics can be difficult. In some cases, having family can make things easier. However, in others, it could make things more stressful. If you can't get help from those you feel like should be helping, try to think of others. Overall, try to think of the good things, as it's easy to forget them when we focus on the negative. Tiredness. Sleep can be tough to get when you are taking care of a person with dementia. As they go through the disease, they may not sleep through the night anymore, and therefore neither do you as you try to redirect them back to bed or assist with bringing them to the bathroom. Try to put sleep high on your priority list. Lack of sleep can lead to many health issues and affects our day-to-day mood. If you're having difficulty sleeping that is not directly related to caregiving, talk to your doctor. Depression. What is depression? Often it's seen by many as a sign of weakness. People with symptoms of depression don't describe themselves as being depressed. While researchers are still trying to pinpoint the cause of depression, they do know there are some contributing factors, which include environmental triggers, some medications, living with a serious illness, grief due to losing a loved one, living with someone with serious depression, and other factors. A caregiver who's battling depression could be embarrassed. They could also feel like a failure when those around them will judge them. However, depression is very common in those who are caregiving, and it can be a normal reaction to a very difficult situation. It's normal to have negative feelings and thoughts that come and go. However, when the thoughts are leaving you drained, tearful, or irritable, it could be a sign of depression. Ignoring these feelings will not make them go away. Depression is experienced in different ways by everyone. Some may have the classic sadness and hopelessness symptoms, while others could be irritable and extremely fatigued. So some common symptoms of depression are feeling sad, tearful, empty, and hopeless, a change in eating or sleeping habits, loss of interest in people or activities that you used to enjoy, feeling numb, increase in alcohol use, and trouble with focusing, thinking, or planning. Okay. What to do if you think you are depressed? If you feel like you may be experiencing depression, you should treat it as though you would any other illness. This means talking to your doctor about how you're feeling. If using the word depressed makes you uncomfortable, try using other words to explain how you're feeling. Be sure to include some information that you are caregiving and any other symptoms you could be experiencing. Ignoring your feelings will not make them go away. Often, when we're caring for someone else, our feelings and moods can be felt or seen by that person, even if they have dementia. This could be done by our body language, tone of voice, things we say, or just our overall vibe. What you say to yourself every day will lift you up or tear you down. That's why it's so important to have positive self-talk. Well, what is self-talk? It's the way we think and look at things and reflect at how we look at life. Self-talk is the unspoken thoughts in our heads, or sometimes the things we say out loud to ourselves. Oftentimes, these thoughts can be either positive or negative. Some self-talk can come from logic and reason, while others can come from misunderstandings you can create due to lack of information. If your thoughts are more negative, then your outlook on life is more likely to be negative. However, if your thoughts are more positive, then you tend to be more optimistic. Having positive self-talk can be beneficial for a person's health, in addition to helping with stress levels. Some other health benefits to positive thinking may be an increased lifespan, lower risk of depression, lower stress, better resistance to the common cold, better psychological and physical well-being, better coping skills during hard times. Negative self-talkers tend to filter. They only focus on the negative things that are happening rather than the positive things. They take things personally, thinking that all the bad things that happen are because of them. They automatically prepare for the worst or catastrophize, making a mountain out of a molehill, and polarize things. They only see things as either all good or all bad. So on the screen, I have some examples of negative versus positive self-talk. So negative might be, I've never done this before, I can't do it. Or you could flip it and say, this is an opportunity to learn something new. It's too complicated, I can't do it. Or I'll tackle it from a different angle. There's no way that this will work out. Or I can try to make it work. Or I'm never going to get any better at this. Or I could give it another try. If you feel like your self-talk is more negative than it should be, then here are some ways to change it. Identify areas to change. Start by thinking small about one area in life that you tend to have a negative attitude about, such as work or a specific relationship. Try to approach it in a more positive way. Challenge yourself. Throughout the day, stop and gauge whether what you are thinking. If your thoughts are mostly negative, try to think of a way to put a positive spin on it. Be open to humor. Look for the humor in everyday things. Let yourself smile or laugh, especially during hard times. Follow a healthy lifestyle. Try to exercise most days. Exercise can make your mood better and reduce stress. Also, follow a healthy diet. Learn the best way for you to manage your stress. Surround yourself with positive people. Make the people in your life positive, supportive people who you can depend on for helpful advice and feedback. Negative people tend to increase your self-doubt and increase your stress. Practice positive self-talk. Don't say anything about yourself that you wouldn't say to a friend. Encourage yourself. When negative thoughts enter your mind, respond with positive things that are good about you. Managing stress. These are some signs that you are stressed. Could be denial, anger, social withdrawal, anxiety or panic, depression, exhaustion, sleeplessness, irritability, concentration problems, or an increase in health problems. Caregiving is a very stressful job. So if you are experiencing these, what are some ways to manage your stress? Know what your community resources are. Get help and support. Ask friends and family members to help. Also reach out for support. If the stress is overwhelming, talk to your doctor. Use relaxation techniques. There are lots of different ways to relax. Try a few and figure out what works for you. Some ideas could be visualization, picturing a place or something that is calm and peaceful, maybe a beach or your favorite place. Meditation, taking 15 minutes to let go of all stressful thoughts. Breathing exercises, slowing your breathing down and taking deep breaths. There's also a lot of guided meditations online. Exercise can help with reducing stress and overall health. It can be in any form and whatever length you can do it for. Find time for yourself. Take a break and use respite when you're able to. Get out and do something that you enjoy. Educate yourself. As the dementia progresses, new behaviors and challenges will come up. Learning about these and ways to manage them will help you and the person with dementia. Take care of yourself. I feel like a broken record. I've said this a bunch already, but go to your doctor regularly, eat healthy, exercise, and get enough sleep. Make your own legal and financial plans. It's important to do these early so the person with dementia can make the plans with you. And don't forget about taking care of your own plans as well. Asking for help. Studies show that caregiving compromises caregiver health, and caregivers are more likely to be taking depression and anxiety medication than their peers. However, there's a reluctance in asking for help and accepting help from others to get support. When asked, "Is there anything you need?" your answer should always be yes. However, when a person asks you to do something that would be draining on you, learn to say no. This could be something like hosting a family dinner for the holidays. Allowing others to care for your loved one can give you a break from the caregiving. This could be in the form of a friend or family member coming to the house so you can leave, or even if you have the person with dementia, go to an adult day program. By having a break in caregiving, it can allow you to regroup and refocus so you can provide the best possible care. You may be wondering, well, how do I ask for help? When you ask a person, think about what they're interested in or talented in. If you have a friend who loves to cook, then asking her to cook a meal for you may be better received than asking her to drive you to a doctor's appointment. Know the person who you can always count on to say yes because they have a difficult time saying no. Try not to ask the same person every time. Think about your timing when you ask for help. You're more likely to be met with resistance or refusal if you ask a person who's currently overwhelmed and stressed. Have a mental or physical list of things you need help with. This way, when someone asks you what you need to help with, you can even tell them or show them and let them choose what they would like to do. Be prepared for the person to hesitate or even tell you no. It can be hard to hear that someone doesn't want to help. However, it could do more damage to your relationship if the person was only helping you out because they felt obligated to. Try not to take it personally. Think of it as the person refusing to do the task rather than turning you down. Make sure the question is not softened when you ask it. By asking, "Would you mind?" or "It's only a thought," these make the request seem like they aren't that important to you. Make sure you use I statements and make them specific. Support groups. What is a support group? So, regularly held meeting for people who are currently experiencing similar illness or in a similar situation. However, regular attendance is optional. In a support group, a person can receive emotional support not only from the facilitator who's running the meeting, but also from his or her peers who are attending the meeting. Other caregivers will share strategies and lessons they have learned from their own caregiving situation or heard from others. Information and resources are often exchanged either by the facilitator or by members of the group. In some cases, there can be specific trainings done as well. What is the benefit of support groups? Well, it gives you an opportunity to vent and to have your feelings validated. Support groups can help caregivers feel heard, understood, and cared for. You may find that venting is helpful for you, or you may need other caregivers in the meeting to validate your feelings. Other caregivers can understand your frustration. Members in the support group often offer ideas and help each other out. These could share ideas about medication, doctors, and treatments. A person could ask for specific help or ideas to help with the situation that they are dealing with. Attending support groups can also help caregivers see that they are not alone. When in a support group, you can hear from others and see that they too are experiencing similar struggles. People within a support group can raise awareness for the illness and participate in local events. Also provides an opportunity for you to have a sense of belonging in the community. Taking care of yourself. I've already covered some of these things, but it's really important for you to take care of yourself. So eat healthy, drink plenty. As you age, you can lose your sense of thirst. So milk and juice can help you stay hydrated, though often drinking water is best. Make eating a social event. It's more enjoyable to eat with others. Invite a friend over to eat with you or go out into the community, go out to lunch or order takeout for some of your meals. Plan healthy meals. It's important to follow trusted nutrition information. The guidelines for what meals you should create are available at choosemyplate.gov. Watch your portions. Learn how much you should be eating. If you're eating out, packing away part of the meal can help with overeating and provide you with a second meal later. Vegetables can brighten your plate and are a low-calorie source of nutrients. Eat for your teeth and gums. As people age, they start to find they have difficulty with chewing some fruits, veggies, or meats. Try to offer softer foods rather than missing out on the nutrients that they can provide. Use herbs and spices. As a person ages, the sense of taste and smell may seem to go away. You find that foods are tasting different. Try to switch them up by adding spices and herbs. Keep food safe. Food-related illnesses can be threatening to an older person. Throw away food that may no longer be safe to eat. It can be dangerous to eat raw or undercooked foods, as well as eggs, fish, and meat. Read the nutrition label. Talk to your doctor to find out if there are ingredients or nutrients you may need to stay away from or increase. Looking at labels can help you decide what foods would be better for you. Ask your doctor about vitamins or supplements. Sometimes you're unable to get all of your nutrients from your foods, which is the preferred way to get them. Talk to your doctor before start taking any vitamins or supplements. And as always, let your doctor know if you are taking them, as they can interfere with medicine. Exercise. The benefits of exercise are very numerous. It helps you maintain your strength or gain it back, can give you more energy, improve your balance, prevent or delay some diseases, and help with your mood and fight depression. Some different types of exercises you might want to include endurance training. So this is the length of time that you are able to do an activity that makes breathing difficult. Person should try to get in 30 minutes of exercise a day, most days of the week. It doesn't have to be done all at one time, though. You could break it into 10-minute sections. For example, taking 3 10-minute brisk walks during the day. Strength training keeps your muscles strong, so you're able to do things on your own for longer. Keeping muscles strong also helps prevent falls. So make sure you incorporate some strength training into your exercise as well. As your balance, try to do things that test your balance, like standing on one foot without holding on to anything. Flexibility can improve your flexibility by stretching, by helping keep or improve your flexible. You can do simple stretches, even just bending down to tie your shoes. You should always talk to your doctor before you start exercising, and make sure you start slowly and build up your exercise gradually. It seems now that we only get a precious few minutes to talk to our doctors about how we're feeling. These tips can be used for seeing a new doctor or one you've been seeing for years, or even a specialist. Make a list of what you would like to talk about and prioritize those things. If you are concerned about how your treatment is affecting your daily life, any vaccinations you would like, any questions on medication, these are a good thing to add to your list. Bring questions up right away in the beginning of your appointment rather than waiting until the end. This ensures you have plenty of time to talk about them. Some doctors always bring either a list or the actual containers of any prescription medications you're taking, as well as over-the-counter vitamins and herbs and remedies or supplements that you take. Don't forget to bring any important documentation that you need, like your insurance cards, names and numbers of other doctors that you see, and medical records if they weren't sent over from another office. Sometimes it can be helpful to bring a close friend or family member to listen to what the doctor has to tell you as well. Talk to the person that you're going with ahead of time about what you would like to learn from the appointment. The person can also remind you of things in case you forget to bring them up, or they could take notes for you so you remember what the doctor said later on. Make sure you're able to see and hear well during your appointment. This may mean wearing your glasses and hearing aids for the visit, and let the doctor or office staff know if you're having difficulty hearing or seeing and how they can help you. Update your doctor on things that have happened since your last visit. This would include any trips to the emergency room, visits to a specialist, and changes in medication. Also mention if you've noticed any changes in your weight, sleep patterns, appetite, or energy levels. Tips for better sleep. As I mentioned, sleep is so important. Follow a regular sleep schedule. Go to sleep at the same time every night and wake up at the same time every day, even on the weekends. Avoid napping, as this could affect your nighttime sleep. Develop a bedtime routine. Relax before bed every night by reading a book, listening to soothing music, or taking a warm bath. Try not to watch TV or use other devices, as the light can make it difficult for you to fall asleep at night. Keep your bedroom at a comfortable temperature, not too hot, not too cold. Use low lighting in the evenings when you're getting ready for bed. Exercise at regular times, but not 3 hours before bed. And avoid eating a large meal before bed, as this could keep you awake. Stay away from caffeine late in the day. Coffee, tea, soda, even chocolate can affect your sleep. And alcohol won't help you sleep. Even in small amounts, it can actually make it harder to stay asleep at night. Take a break. Some people refer to their break from caregiving as respite. Taking a break can allow you to regroup, connect to your friends, and it can also allow you to do something that's relaxing for you. You could read a book, take a nap, go for a walk, get out and get your hair done. Respite can be done in many ways. Some people choose to have another person come into the home and stay with their loved one. This could be a person from an agency that you are paying, or it could be a friend or a family member. You could choose to do an adult day program, or in some cases, a nursing facility. There are community resources that can help you pay for any of these options. It may be difficult for you to leave your loved one, so you can take a break. However, it may be good for him as well. Socializing with others can help with mood or behavior. Taking a break is an important step in taking care of yourself. That brings me to the end of my presentation. If you have any questions, feel free to type them into the chat box. I see we have one already. So, how to deal with the repetitive questions and how to divert attention from negative comments and discussion direction. So yes, that's a very common situation with dementia, where they're repeating the same question over and over again. Maybe it's what's for dinner, and it can be hard to stay patient. So with that example, if they keep asking what's for dinner, you could say, oh, I was thinking we were going to have spaghetti. How does that sound to you? Get their response, and then try to distract them with an activity, changing the subject, maybe putting on some music, pointing out a bird that's out the window, whatever it is to distract them, asking them for help with doing something, even if it's, sorting the laundry, folding socks, whatever it will do to distract them. And it might come back up. So they could bring it back up maybe a half an hour later, maybe an hour later. And you just have to stay patient and keep doing that. If you are feeling frustrated with the repetitive questions, make sure you take a break, maybe get yourself a cup of tea or a cup of coffee, and walk away from the person for a minute, as long as they're safe. Maybe have someone else. That's when you need a little bit of a break. But it is very hard to stay patient. I'm sure anyone who's listening to this right now and is also a caregiver can relate. Are there any other questions? Feel free to type in questions. I do want to let you know, so normally I give this presentation in person and I bring this book with me. It's called Creating Moments of Joy. And with COVID, all of our presentations are happening virtually. So if you would like a copy of this book, please let me know and I can either mail it to you if you do not live locally, or I can drop it off to you. It would be a contactless drop off. I'd leave it on your porch. But please let me know. I'm happy to get you a copy of this book. This is one of my favorite ones. It's very uplifting and it also has a lot of practical advice. I do also want to let you know about some of our upcoming events. So starting at the beginning of April, I am going to be leading a 6-week course called Powerful Tools for Caregivers. It meets every Monday afternoon for 6 weeks, for 2 hours a day. And it has a lot of really good strategies for stress reduction, for taking better care of yourself, for improving your communication skills. So if that is something you're interested in, please let me know. I'd be happy to send you the link. That also is something that's happening virtually. I'm also doing a virtual caregiver conference with Frank Pastizo. He was a keynote speaker for us last year, I believe in May, and he's going to be doing a follow-up presentation for us. That is on April 14th. So if either of those things are of interest to you, please let me know. We also have support groups and memory cafes that happen each month. So again, if you are interested in signing up for those, please let me know. Well, if there are no other questions, I want to thank you all for taking the time to come to this presentation today. I hope you have something that you learned you can take away from it. And if you have any questions you think of later, please feel free to reach out to me. Thank you, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.